You do not need to kill absolutely all of them before you start doing boss damage, and so you may find that you can be sneaky, creep up on the boss potentially when it initially spawns in, and absolutely shrek it, and before the zombies around you even really have a chance to start attacking you, you'll find that they all just die and the boss will move to its next spot. However, you can also, of course, just try and take down loads of zombies before you focus the boss if you feel that that would be a safer option for your circumstances. Next, we have Retrieve, and I think this is probably the trickiest one. If you have this in your game, you're going to want to be very tactical about the way to do it. When you start the objective, a timer on the left-hand side of your screen is going to begin, and 2 points of interest will be marked A and B. You need to run over to these locations and hold square to purge, and then after a few seconds, you'll be able to pick up a canister. If you're carrying a canister, you won't be able to jump or sprint, it's going to slow you down quite a lot, but you will have your field upgrade switched over to a new, more powerful upgrade, which basically gives you a short-range nuke, and it's going to get recharged from just a few kills. 5 or 6 kills will give you a completely fresh charge and then you'll be able to use it once again. Holding the canister, you need to walk it back to the original location where you started this objective, and hold square for a couple of seconds to load.
Paying $168 a month for my auto insurance. Now check out my new bill, $61 a month. It's called auto, and it took me like 1 minute to qualify for this new rate. And now all of my friends are saving money on their auto insurance by doing the same exact thing. I went ahead and put a link in the description below, so click the link, check it out, save some money, thank me later.
Put it into the device. Now, as you can imagine, this can get pretty overwhelming pretty quickly because you're so slow. So doing things like making sure you've got monkeys in your inventory before you start this objective might be a really good idea. And also making sure potentially that there's a vehicle nearby so you can zip around a bit more easily. Once you've done the first canister, you'll need to go and purge your second and then carry that back to the original device. And once you've inputted that second canister, the objective will be completed and you'll be able to move on. Next up, we have Defend. This one is pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. You activate it and then it's going to give you a timer on the left-hand side and a health bar on the left-hand side. You have to protect this little panel here from all the zombies that will be surging towards you. It's going to get pretty crazy, so this is another one where anything with AoE, like wave clear type uses, like C4s for example, it's going to be extremely useful. And if you've got stuff like monkeys, it can be handy as well. Also, if the health bar starts getting really low, it can be useful here if someone in your game uses Frenzy Guard, because as you activate Frenzy Guard, it's going to cause all zombies to run away from the panel and towards you instead, and so you can basically just entirely take the pressure off and take the zombies down while you're at it too. We're now at the point where we've covered all those main objectives, and so we can talk about what happens directly afterwards. When you finish your objective, an anomaly will spawn in somewhere on the map, and you need to run over to it and hold square to spawn in a beacon. This will also spawn in a pack-a-punch machine, crafting table, armor station, and Wonder Fizz machine. You can use these machines if you want to, and you probably will have some points from doing that objective, so go ahead and do that. And when you're ready to start moving forward, you've got a choice at the beacon. You can either exfil, which will route you to a certain location on the map, and you'll have to clear zombies out just like you have done in D Machine and Firebase Z, or you can choose to warp, which is going to continue your game and move you into a new region, which is basically the same as just loading you into an entirely new. If you choose to warp, that new region will be at a higher world tier, and that is the counter in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It's not rounds anymore, it's these world tiers, and they get progressively more difficult as you go, but the rewards get better as you go as well. So let's say you choose to warp, and then you go through the same process in that new region of doing side quests, getting geared up, and then doing a main challenge at the end, and getting another beacon. The rewards will start out as just raw Ethereum crystals, but then you'll get refined Ethereum crystals, and eventually you'll get flawless ones as well. And if you get to the really high world tiers, you can get multiple flawless Ethereum crystals from completing the objective in that region, and then you can just move on once again and do it all over again and get even more. These new crystals, refined and flawless, are used for tier 4 and 5 upgrades respectively in your skill trees, and while it's expensive to get them unlocked, you need 5 flawless to get tier 5 for example, it's of them are so powerful. Not all of us can just keep playing this forever though, and so if you want to give yourself a nice little bonus at the end of your run, exfilling is a good idea. I want to give you a word of warning though, because what can happen if you're not careful is you can get an area of the map that you need to clear zombies from, and then if more zombies keep running in from the outside, that can actually cause the counter to start going up instead of down. It happened to me in my game. Be careful if this does happen. You might need to use your score streaks, etc., to just make sure that everything is dead in that area, and you'll then be able to board the chopper just like you would in D Machine or 5AC. In my mind, if you're a fairly new player or someone a little bit less experienced, trying to get to World Tier 4 and then exfilling there is a really good idea. It's going to be a challenge, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a good target to set for yourself. If you're a more experienced player, I really suggest you just push through and go as far as you can, because you may find that you surprise yourself with how far you can get. And remember as well, early on, the more experience you have doing all these challenges will mean that the faster you can farm in the future, so you don't need to necessarily exfil and be really cautious early on in the kind of lifetime of the Outbreak mode. You might as well push the boundaries a bit. So believe in yourself. Try and go for those high world tiers. I also should probably make it clear that you don't only get your rewards if you exfil. Like, you can do a load of world tiers and get the rewards and have it pop up on screen, and then die or fail a main objective in one of the world tiers late on, like let's say world tier 7, and you'll still get all the rewards that you earned previously. You keep all those. It's not like the Division Dark Zone or something where you only keep what you extract with. Thankfully, your rewards will be saved. So if you are an experienced player and you are pushing those high rounds, what's the best way to do it? Well, you're going to get to the point where pretty much any regular weapon triple pack-a-punched with alternate ammo types and just everything upgraded in your arsenal is still not going to be enough. I hate to say it, but the zombies get really strong in this mode, and taking down all those variety of different bosses can be really difficult. And that's why I was saying, like, do trials and side quests early in your game as much as possible, because you're going to build up a bigger points buffer earlier in your game and a bigger salvage buffer to get tier 3 armor faster. You're going to get more chances to get wonder weapons like the Dice Shockwave, the Ray Gun, or the Ray K, and you'll get free perks, which means that you can save that money and spend it on upgrading your weapons instead. Now, of the wonder weapons that are currently available in the mode, I would say that the Dice Shockwave is the least useful by quite a long way, actually, and the Ray Gun and Ray K are kind of tied in my mind, but they have different use cases. The Ray Gun has seriously good firepower, I can't deny that, but the slow effect of the ult fire of the Ray K is extremely useful utility, and so if you're playing co-op, and like I said before about the holdout step, you need to make sure that zombies aren't going to all flood into one area and take you down and overwhelm you super quickly, then that slow can be life-changing. That isn't to say, by the way, that the Ray K's regular fire is bad by any means. It's fantastic, and the Ray K and Ray Gun will both do a great job of doing things like taking down at Tempests, which can be a really pesky enemy to try and take down if you're using a regular weapon. It's pretty much pointless trying to match alternate ammo types to the enemy that you're fighting, because there are just too many of them. Like, you'll need poison, and then you'll need fire, and then you'll need electricity, and it's just overwhelming. And that's why just defaulting to a super powerful wonder weapon is ultimately probably where you want to be. I will say, though, that the Howler is just incredibly powerful in this game. It's so stupidly OP. I've got a weapon loadout guide for it on my channel, and it's just incredibly strong, so that is a potential alternative, but bear in mind, if you're using a shotgun, you're not going to have range, and that can, in